You've been grinding in the gym for months, maybe even years, but you're still not seeing the results you want. Your bench press hasn't moved in 6 months. Your abs are still hiding under a layer of fat. And that guy who started working out after you is already bigger and stronger. Here's the brutal truth. It's not your genetics, it's not your age, and it's not bad luck. You're making one or more of the 5 fatal training mistakes that are sabotaging your progress, and today, I'm going to expose every single one of them. What's up, guys? I'm about to save you years of frustration and wasted effort in the gym. I've been training for over a decade. I've worked with hundreds of clients, and I've made every mistake in the book myself. The patterns are always the same. Guys who make these 5 mistakes stay weak and small, while guys who fix them transform their physiques rapidly. Here's what's crazy. A study published in the Journal of Sports Sciences followed 120 men for 12 weeks of resistance training. Half followed a structured, progressive program with proper form coaching. The other half just went to the gym and did whatever felt right. The structured group gained 40% more muscle mass and 60% more strength. Same time investment, dramatically different results. The difference wasn't genetics or supplements, it was avoiding these critical mistakes. Today we're going to break down the 5 fatal training errors that are killing your gains, why they're so devastating to your progress, and most importantly, exactly how to fix them starting with your very next workout. Let's start with the biggest progress killer of all, terrible form and ego lifting. Walk into any gym and you'll see it everywhere. Guys loading up the bar with weight they can't handle, turning every exercise into a momentum-driven disaster. They're bench pressing with their lower back arched like a bridge, doing bicep curls that look more like full-body seizures, and squatting with their knees caving inward like they're about to collapse. Here's why this destroys your progress. When you use momentum in poor form, you're not actually challenging the target muscle through its full range of motion under proper tension. A study in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research compared muscle activation between controlled reps and momentum-driven reps. The controlled group had 23% higher muscle activation and 31% better strength gains over 8 weeks. But it gets worse. Poor form doesn't just limit your gains, it sets you up for injury. Every time you ego lift, you're playing Russian roulette with your joints, tendons, and ligaments. I've seen too many guys take months off training because they tried to impress someone with a weight they couldn't handle properly. The fix is simple but requires swallowing your ego. Drop the weight by 20 to 30% and focus on perfect form. Control the weight on both the lifting and lowering phases. Feel the target muscle working through its full range of motion. Your ego might be bruised, but your muscles will finally start growing. Remember, the weight on the bar doesn't matter if you're not actually lifting it. You're just moving it from point A to point B using momentum and compensatory patterns. The second fatal mistake is program hopping. Constantly switching routines every few weeks because you saw some new workout on social media or heard about the latest celebrity training method. One week you're doing a bodybuilder split, next week it's CrossFit, then you switch to powerlifting, then you try some crazy 300 rep challenge you saw on Instagram. Here's the problem. Muscle growth and strength gains require progressive overload over time. You need to consistently challenge your muscles with gradually increasing demands. More weight, more reps, or more sets over weeks and months. When you constantly switch programs, you never give any single approach enough time to work, and you can't track meaningful progress. Research published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology showed that subjects who followed the same program for 12 weeks gained significantly more strength and muscle mass than those who switched programs every 4 weeks. Consistency trumps variety when it comes to results. The solution is to commit to one well-designed program for at least 8 to 12 weeks. Yes, it might get boring. Yes, you might see some new workout that looks more exciting. Stick with your program anyway. Track your weights, reps, and sets religiously. Focus on beating last week's performance rather than chasing the next shiny object. Boring consistency builds impressive physiques. The third mistake is completely ignoring recovery, and this one is absolutely crushing your gains. You think more is always better, so you're training 6 or 7 days a week, sometimes hitting the same muscle groups multiple days in a row. You're skipping rest days because you think they make you weak, and you're probably not sleeping enough because you're too busy grinding. Here's the reality check. Your muscles don't grow in the gym, they grow during recovery. When you lift weights, you're actually creating microscopic tears in your muscle fibers. It's during rest, particularly during deep sleep, that your body repairs these tears and builds them back stronger and bigger. Without adequate recovery, you're just accumulating damage without allowing adaptation. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology compared two groups, one training every day and one training every other day for 8 weeks. The group that included rest days gained 40% more muscle mass and had significantly better strength improvements. They literally got better results by doing less. Your muscles need 48 to 72 hours to fully recover from an intense training session. This doesn't mean sitting on the couch. Light activity like walking or yoga can actually enhance recovery by promoting blood flow. But you need to stop hammering the same muscle groups day after day. Plan your training split, so each muscle group gets at least 2 full days of recovery between intense sessions. Sleep is absolutely critical here too. During deep sleep phases, your body releases growth hormone and performs most of its muscle repair and building processes. If you're consistently getting less than 7 hours of quality sleep, you're sabotaging your recovery and limiting your gains significantly. The fourth fatal mistake is using completely wrong rep ranges for your goals. Most guys have no idea that different rep ranges produce different adaptations. They just pick a weight and do whatever feels right in the moment, usually somewhere between 8 and 12 reps because that's what they've always done. Here's the science. If your primary goal is strength, you need to spend most of your time in the 1 to 5 rep range with heavy weights. If your goal is muscle growth, the sweet spot is 6 to 15 reps with moderate to heavy weights. If you want muscular endurance, you need higher rep ranges of 15 to 25 reps with lighter weights. The problem is most guys are stuck in the middle, using moderate weights for moderate reps and getting moderate results. They're not heavy enough to drive significant strength adaptations, and they're not creating enough volume to maximize muscle growth. A meta-analysis published in Sports Medicine analyzed 40 studies on rep ranges and found that while muscle growth can occur across various rep ranges, the 6 to 15 rep range consistently produced the greatest hypertrophy when volume was equated. For strength development, the 1 to 5 rep range was superior. The fix is to periodize your training based on your primary goal. If you want to get bigger, spend 70 to 80% of your training time in that 6 to 15 rep range, using weights that make the last 2 to 3 reps genuinely challenging. If strength is your priority, focus on heavy sets of 1 to 5 reps with proper rest periods between sets. The fifth and final mistake is the complete lack of progression tracking. Most guys walk into the gym without a plan, do whatever feels right that day, and have no idea if they're actually getting stronger or just spinning their wheels. They might remember that they benched 185 for some number of reps last week, but they can't tell you exactly how many reps, how many sets, or how it compared to the week before. Without tracking, you have no way to ensure progressive overload, which is the fundamental driver of all training adaptations. Progressive overload means gradually increasing the demands you place on your muscles over time. Either more weight, more reps, more sets, or better form with the same load. A study in the Journal of Sports Medicine and Physical Fitness compared two groups following identical training programs. One group tracked all their workouts in detail, while the other group just trained by feel. After 12 weeks, the tracking group had gained 18% more strength and 12% more muscle mass. The simple act of recording and reviewing their performance drove better results. The solution is brutally simple, but requires discipline. Write down every single workout. Record the exercise, the weight used, the number of sets and reps completed, and any notes about how it felt. Before each workout, review your previous session and aim to beat it somehow, either by adding weight, doing more reps, or completing the same work with better form. Use a simple notebook, a phone app, or whatever system you'll actually stick with consistently. The key is having objective data to guide your training decisions rather than relying on memory and feelings. Here's how to implement all of this, starting with your next workout. First, choose one well-designed program and commit to following it for at least 8 to 12 weeks without modifications. Second, focus obsessively on perfect form, even if it means dropping the weight significantly. Third, plan at least one full rest day between training the same muscle groups. Fourth, match your rep ranges to your primary goals. 6 to 15 reps for muscle growth, 1 to 5 for strength. Fifth, track every single workout in detail and always strive to beat your previous performance. Most guys make at least 3 of these 5 mistakes, which explains why they struggle for years without meaningful progress. The guys who avoid these errors and follow the principles I've outlined consistently see dramatic improvements in strength and physique within just a few months. Remember, there are no shortcuts in the gym, but there are definitely wrong turns that can waste months or years of your time. Fix these 5 fatal mistakes, and you'll be amazed at how quickly your body starts responding to your training efforts. If you're ready to take your training to the next level with a proven, science-based approach, I've put together a complete muscle-building system that eliminates all the guesswork. It includes progressive training programs, form coaching videos, and tracking tools that guarantee you'll avoid these common mistakes. You can find the link in the description below. What's been your biggest training mistake? Have you been making any of these errors without realizing it? Drop a comment and let me know your biggest challenge in the gym. And if this video helped you understand why your workouts haven't been working, make sure to subscribe for more evidence-based fitness content that actually gets results. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.